This evening, we want to thank you. Thank you more than anything else for sending your Son to die for us so that today we are saved. We can rejoice knowing that you are there for us. Now we are in a different forum, a forum where we want to talk about healthy matters and health matters. We pray that those who are sitting at our head table will be able to deliver, and we will be able to walk away enhanced, educated, and be able to help ourselves and others and inform others in a very meaningful way on the subject. Bless our pastor, our church, and for him having the foresight to be so close to the cancer support services that they can bring their services here to us. And we pray and thank God for them and the wonderful work they are doing. So I'd ask you now to enjoy.
Skin, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't discriminate. It will hit anyone. And I'm sure many of you here are familiar with someone or some family member who have journeyed with cancer, some of whom might have died. It generally hit just about every one of us. So let's take care of our own bodies, protect our families, protect ourselves, and get checked. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, in our experience, we're going to be talking not primarily about cancer, because it's often not the word alone conjures up a lot of darkness. But we want to talk about attitude and aptitude. We want to talk about mind power, and more importantly, to talk about how are we moving forward as a people. And so the theme of tonight's experience is in the pit of my stomach, I felt something wrong. Now we go back to old Bajan sayings, or a Bajan experience rather, or expression. You know, your grandmother or your mother, something happens in the village and it happens to a relative. And what is likely for the grandmother to say? What is the grandmother likely to say? Go back and think. The first thing she'll probably say, oh Lord, I can feel this thing deep in my stomach. Because in the stomach, the pit of the stomach, all the emotions are resident there. All of our fears or concerns. And so for us who have journeyed or who are journeying with cancer, we tend to ignore for the better part, and then realizing this is serious than we thought, far more serious than we thought it is. And so that's why we decided to choose this topic, which perhaps has some intrigue. But I would say to you that even though we have what may be looked upon as panelists, you, ladies and gentlemen, you are part of this experience. So we want to also hear from your stories. You who are journeying, you who have journeyed, and more importantly, we want to hear from the caretakers. Because a lot of the time, the caretakers are the ones who recognize what's happening. They're the ones who recognize what's happening. We are more like the canvas, but they're seeing the changes. That's my personal experience for sure. My wife can testify to that. So we want then to better the experiences or personal experiences and to share so that how you deal with it is perhaps different, but my way of dealing with it will also assist you. And that is all we're doing tonight. So I want to now allow you to hear from Graham Bannister, and Graham would share his story and how, ladies and gentlemen, as I made mention of the caretaker experience, how he also recognized such.
Hi. Hello. Hi, good evening. If you all don't mind, I would stand and I will walk around. I want to make this interactive. And I've been sitting down all day. My name is Graham Bannister. January last year, I was diagnosed with colon cancer. And just like the topic, in the pit of my stomach, something felt wrong. And it was a pain that had nothing to do with the cancer at all. I had a pain on my right side, the cancer was on the left. But it was, I guess, God's way of telling me, find myself to the doctor. With the experience that I've had over the last 18 months, I have made it my mission in life now to encourage everybody else to get involved in testing themselves. Early detection, early screening. That is what saved me. I was fortunate that my journey ended well. I was diagnosed with stage 2 colon cancer, and I didn't have to do radiation or chemo because mine had not spread. Because for some God-given reason, I went to the doctor because my daughter forced me to go. Right? I'm not going to go through my entire journey because I've been doing that a lot at our sessions, and I don't want to make people get bored hearing my story over and over. So what I'm going to do this evening is speak about the importance of how you must look after yourself. And first of all, I want to thank you all for being here tonight, because it shows, first of all, that you all are interested and that you wish to hear what we went through and understand the whole concept of cancer. And as I keep saying, cancer is not a death sentence. And that was the first thing my doctor told me when he told me I had cancer. And I said he told me that because he could see in my face that I had this little bit of trepidation at first. But when he told me that, and then he said, this is how we're going to deal with it, I started to feel more at ease. And that helped me. But again, as we've been saying, the power of the mind, positivity, surrounding yourself with positive persons, and you yourself making light of situations, not necessarily your cancer, but of the circumstances that you're going through, and keeping that positive thought helps. And all of my doctors told me that it was my positivity that really helps me to get over what I had very quickly. So I don't want to sit here and stand here, and say that cancer is not a serious thing. But we can only control 3 things in our life: what we think, what we say, and what we do. We can't control anything else. So I controlled what I thought. I controlled what I did, and I controlled what I said. And my wife was my caregiver. She was with me from day one. When I went to Bayview Hospital, she was there by my side. She knows things about me that nobody knows and nobody ever will. But I know that she suffered just as much as I was, but in a different way. And it is the caregivers as well that we want to stress to you that we at Cancer Support Services are here for you as well as the persons who have that cancer. Because we know what it is, we know what it is like, and we know what the persons who looked after us went through. So I want to get back to why I'm here. Bajan men are stubborn. We all know that. We don't go to the doctor unless it is a real emergency. And even then, sometimes we say we're not going to the doctor anymore unless somebody forces us. And when it comes to cancer screening for the colon, the thought of a colonoscopy, which is a doctor taking a metal tube with a camera and inserting it into you, that turns men off. And the amount of men that I have spoken to where I work, and I WhatsApped 169 of my friends who are male on my WhatsApp. And I said to them, come tonight. Not one is here. I sent on Facebook to over 95 other persons, and not one is here. Because Bajan men got this fear that it is best to not try to find out if we have something wrong with us. Because if we deny it, and if we say we don't have it, it's not going to be there. But I am living proof that if you deny it and say it is not there, believe you me, it is there. And I preferred to do the screening and all of the necessary precautions, and I ended up doing surgery. That humbles somebody. So do not be afraid of a colonoscopy. Do not be afraid of if you have to get your prostate tested. I am here to be on the backs of every single man, pushing for you to get screened. And during the course of the evening, I will talk more about it. Because if you don't get screened, you end up leaving loved ones behind. And what pushed me to look after myself was my wife and my 2 children. Not them pushing me necessarily, but the thought of them. And as I said at one of our sessions some time back, and I wrote a piece about it, I did not fear myself dying, but I feared leaving them behind. And who would look after them? Who would deal with them? And who would comfort them when I wasn't there? And that made me push to look after myself, to be positive. So going forward from tonight, gentlemen, and ladies, you too, because colon cancer and cancer in general does not care if you're a male, if you're a female, if you're black, if you're white, if you're Chinese, if you're from Barbados, or if you're from the UK, or the so-called great United States of America. It doesn't care. Just this week, I spoke at a business, and I mentioned about a photo that I saw. A 4-year-old little boy. leaning over a toilet, vomiting, because he was suffering with cancer and was getting chemotherapy. And his 5-year-old sister was patting him on the back and comforting him. And that stuck with me. And I said, this shows that this disease has no cure for anyone. The only way we can beat it, and it is beatable, treatable, and preventable with early screening and early detection. And I will go forward in life pushing for it. So anytime you see me, you know what I'm going to come and talk to you about. Have you been tested as yet? I'm going to ask a question now. How many persons in the room, male, have had a colonoscopy within the last 6 months to a year? Three out of about 12. Now, it used to be when you turn 50, you get a colonoscopy. Not so now. Colon cancer is now affecting 30-year-old persons. Just the other day in the States, somebody who was 27 years old was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer, and they did not make it. And funny enough, younger people are being affected with stage 3 and stage 4 colon cancer, whereas the older ones are being affected with stage 1 and stage 2. I don't know why. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist. But younger persons feel that nothing will happen to them. Younger persons feel that every twinge of pain they have is just something that will go away. So whether you're young, you're old, or if you think you're young, or you feel you're old, you need to get tested. So I will hand it over back to Antoine at this point in time, but I will come back a little later on in the evening, and I will speak a little bit more about my journey, because I want you to understand really what I went through with the ups and the downs, and how I handled it, and how my wife handled it, looking after me during that time. Thank you for now.
1, 2. Oh, good. All right. Really got me feel I should stand up now, man. Yeah, I'll stand. Yeah, why not? I really want to allow you from among us to also speak, so that the focus is not only on us, because I'm sure you may have 1 or 2 stories to share. In the pit of my stomach, I felt something wrong. Well, you know that we as men, we tend to be defiant. We tend to be very strongly defiant as far as what our body is telling us. We tend to be strongly defiant as far as what our female folk are telling us. And we tend to be strongly defiant as far as the thought of something being wrong. Because, and I don't think it has anything to do with the thing that we are macho or anything like that. It is really just perhaps our socialization, cultural behaviors and norms, and just being male. Bearing in mind that there is a distinctiveness between female and male. Because we all know, woman gets a little cut on the finger, she bound and go to the doctor. The man, I can deal with that. And he never does. So I'm saying all that to tell you that at the outset, when I kept hearing the voice, I ignored the voice. And maybe if I had given thought, deeper thought, I would have realized that something was wrong. But I kept ignoring it. Not out of fear, that's perhaps just, let me just continue what I'm doing. So my wife is the one who kept saying, Antoine, something is wrong. You don't look good. You're losing weight. It's not like you're exercising. Something is wrong. In the pit of my stomach, I never thought something was wrong.
And then there were little behavioral patterns which I cultivated. One that stood out. Can you imagine? Let me take you back to that time now. We had bottled water and we had glasses with ice. So could you imagine, I'm going to use the bottled water, but I'm going to make sure that I have all the ice in my glass, and when that's finished, I want more. So before the night is over, I probably would have consumed so much ice, because I had this craving for ice. I would go to the gas station and buy a bag, put it in the freezer, and just take it out and just enjoy ice. My wife asked, so what was that? What's that all about? And I said to her, well, you never know, somebody may pass. It got so bad that the attendants at the gas station recognized that every time I go to the gas station, I'm going to the ice cooler and filling up with cups of ice. And one day I went and bought a paper and some other items. She said, you don't want any ice today? In the pit of my stomach, something was wrong, but I didn't give any thought to it. And it is only then, when I went to the doctor, and when the doctor said, how are you walking around because your, what do you call it? Hemoglobin, yes, is at 4. Not supposed to be that. And then, of course, the transfusions had to take place. We must understand that cancer and the diagnosis that is attached to it brings a certain uniqueness of character. Let me put it down to that. It brings a certain uniqueness of character. And we either have the sense of purpose, the sense of intention to live, and to ensure that the journey is a successful one, or throughout the process, we just give up. And when our thoughts are placed there, it's amazing what the body will do. When we allow our thoughts to go there, and then there are the other contributing elements, stress, for example, financial matters, all those elements that also come into play that affect us in more than one way. So when we talk about cancer, we're talking about a livelihood, a sense of purpose and intent. We're also talking about behavioral patterns which we as individuals, we have to certainly create. Whether it be that of selfishness, and I make that point very clear. I do think there are times when you as the patient, you must be selfish. Yes? When you must, as the patient, must take charge and manage the process and not leave it to the caretakers only and the caregivers. So apart from the physical and the pain and the endurance of pain and the monotony, in my case, I call it monotony and repetition, as far as going to the doctors and medication and chemo and all the images attached to it, if there's no sense of purpose and intent, you could as well forget about it. And that for me was how I dealt with this whole purpose, this journey. From the moment I was told cancer, colon cancer, that's all I knew. And then when we went to Miami, even though I was told by one of the doctors, not attached to my process, oh, you don't need to do that. Well, it's a good thing I did. Because had I not gone, the cancer would have continued to spread, and I perhaps wouldn't be here tonight. In the pit of my stomach, I felt something wrong. But how am I dealing with it? And how are you dealing with it? I'll tell you this also. It brings a certain sense of loneliness. Because you are the one who's carrying this with you. But you have to determine, am I going to embrace this? Am I going to treat it as a friend? Am I going to treat it as a stranger? Am I going to treat it as an intruder? Am I going to treat it as a lesson? That is also important to know. Am I going to treat it as a lesson? So the why me and the whimpers and the pity moments and all that, nah. And if you don't know yourself to be of that kind, why then would you allow this moment to treat you that way? If you don't know yourself to be one who will not bow down and crumble to anything that may affect you, why would you allow this one diagnosis to treat you that way? And you may be able to say, you can stand up and talk all you want to talk. But the truth is, whether it's a cold, whether it's diabetes, whether it is what do you people like to call arthritis, whatever it is how you deal with it. I'm not going to go into the details, specifics of my journey as far as the chemo and all that stuff. I'm not going into that. I like to talk about the overarching component, the will to live and the sense of purpose. I was telling Pastor Paul here recently that I'm one who is not very, how did I use it? We were talking about when I was taking the chemo pills and the regimen that is attached to chemo. Yes, so I boxed in. I felt boxed in and confined. Yeah. Because this journey really teaches us other components of our behavior and our personality that perhaps never ever came into being if we were just moving along life happy-go-lucky. It's amazing the things that we discover. And so he told me, you got to see, no, he didn't say that. He didn't say I got a serious problem. But he talked about perhaps it goes back to a childhood pattern. Because the sense of confinement and regimen is something that I have to deal with seriously. So going to chemo, taking medication, all that, man, let me tell you, that perhaps was one of the toughest parts of this journey for me. Right? The caretakers. My wife, God bless her little soul. Because there are times when I really didn't know how she dealt with me. That's the truth. But I think that we tend to overlook the caretakers, not realizing that they're also part of the journey, not realizing that they also have their sense of fear and concern. Yes? And Graham spoke about it. But the caretakers are so vital to this entire process. So vital. And they're the ones who are quietly crying. And we overlook that as the patient because everything is about us. But they're the ones who are quietly wondering and crying and all that. But I really have to give it to my wife, like I said, because she, in my opinion, and for me, it was almost like, all right, enough now. Enough. Yeah? But she was so well organized that for me, that was one of the highlights of this journey. To the point where I took it for granted. So when she has all of her notes and everything, you can go to the doctor, and the doctor says, so Mr. Williams, when was the last time that you, and I'm going to look at her because she has the answer. Don't ask me, I really can't tell you she has the answer. Yeah? And you ladies know that is how, that's your experience, isn't it? Yeah. Right? She has the answer. So we tend not to pay attention to the caretakers. And they're the ones who are feeling it in the pit of their stomach. They are the ones who are feeling it day by day. And then when the diagnosis is over and we get the good news, as it were, the process doesn't change. It does not change. And I know that there are times when my wife thinks, man, you're doing too much. Because now I feel like I cut down the whole forest. When I really should go tree by tree by tree. Yeah? So we think now that the process is good, but we're really not good because we still have to take care of the regimen. We still have to attend the doctor and do all the things that we have to do. As I close my little piece, I will tell you this. When my treatment was over and I was given the all clear, as it were, and this is following my return to Miami to get my second PET scan and everything, and in my head, having gotten the news that, good, Mr. Williams, you're good now, in my head, I felt something strange. In the pit of my stomach, I didn't feel it wrong, but I feel as though I had missed the process, the journey. Because the truth be told, it became close to me. The whole process became close. There was a certain sense of intimacy. And the scars that are here, they're still very vivid images. The port that I'm still carrying is still a very vivid image. So I said to her and I've said to others, I miss this. Not I want to say, well, I got cancer again, but I just miss it. It felt as though some part of me just went away. Now, this is why I see the purpose coming alive. This is why I see the purpose coming alive. And to all of us who are ready to stand and cheer, that, to my mind, is part of the process. It's part of the process. It's part of the purpose. And it is part of the reason. You know, if you have to go through the fire, you don't know what it's like unless you go through the fire. Yes? And I recognize that as a society, a lot of us are carrying a lot of pain and hurt and confusion in our heads, in our stomachs. And these little moments, I realize they mean so much to people. And they mean so much to me because it's the part of the therapy, as it were. When I go back and I think of how it evolved, the day in October when I went to my doctor, and he said, I don't think anything's wrong, Antoine. If you're losing weight, that's not a bad thing. You know, as you get old, it's good to lose weight. But whoever tell him to say that? Oh, this day my wife never ever forgive him for that. I'm not telling you who the doctor is either. And then when December came, and I said, I don't want to hear any bad news in December. I want to enjoy my Christmas. When I went in January and booked the appointment, which was supposed to be at the ending of January, and then when the receptionist called and said, we have an opening for you, which was in the first week of January, if I had waited until the ending of January, we'll do the maths. Remember I told you the hemoglobin was at 4? And all that time I losing blood. So you know by the end of January, you know what would have happened? Yeah? That was not supposed to happen. Because this is supposed to be part of the process. You understand what I'm saying? This is supposed to be part of the process. And the story goes on. So for all of us who are journeying, think about the process. And when we feel it in our stomach, think about the positive side of it all. And don't feel the wrong. Don't think the negative. Turn off that dull light and see the brightness that is in you and that is part of the entire process and journey. Have I said enough? I'm going to allow caretakers and others in the audience to share. So if you so desire, the mic is here, and I would wish you to come and say your piece.
Antoine, if I could just interject. You all thought that he was finished and I was going to sit down and say nothing more. Pastor Paul said to me, your journey was successful, so do not be ashamed to speak your journey. I'm not going to be in details, but this moves me all the time when I talk about it. And I'm going to spend about 3 minutes talking about what I went through so that you understand the whole concept of what I did. And the power of your family and the love that they have for you. And I will always say, I am standing here today because of my daughter. She was 18 at the time. And I had this little pain, and I said, I'm going to go to the doctor in case it's appendicitis, and tonight at 4 o'clock when I wake up, it's burst and I have problems. And when I went for her, there was no pain, so there was then no doctor. But she insisted that I would go. And she has been the strongest person that I know when it comes to this. I know that I put them, my son, my daughter, and my wife through misery when I was sick. When I went to the hospital and my wife came with me, I left my 2 children with my mother. And when I drove off in the taxi with my wife going to Bayview, and I looked at the 2 of them standing up by the gate, and I saw in their face, we will never see Daddy again. And that stayed with me for the entire journey. When I got to the hospital, I was miserable without my 2 children. But thankfully, my wife was with me. Before getting to the hospital, when I first heard, I would go for a drive by myself, and I would bawl my eyes out. I would never do it in front of them, because I had to be strong for them, because I knew they were being strong for me. I also know that they cried by themselves too. I had to ask my wife to explain to my 2 beautiful children that the doctor said, Graham, from time to time, you're going to be happy, and sometimes you're going to be miserable. The slightest thing is going to throw you off, and you're going to snap at everybody. And I found that that was happening. I would be very good, and then something would happen very minute, and I would start to shout at my 2 children and push them away. And I realized that that is exactly what the doctor would say. So I said to my wife, please explain to the children, it's not that I don't love them, but that this is what I am going through at this point in time. Happy moments and sad moments. I did not go on Google to see what was wrong with me, because you go on Google, you have problems. What I went on Google and did was I Googled biblical scriptures pertaining to endurance and inspirational quotes that would help me to understand that there is a higher being who can look after you and has you in his hands. And that's what I did. By myself, I'll be at home, or I'll be at the doctor's office, I'll be on my phone reading these little things. At night before I went to bed, I would read them. And I would hug my wife, probably the tightest that I ever hugged her, just going to sleep on a night. Because I wanted to know that I had somebody there for me. And when I went in for the surgery, I realized I have to stop with all the negative thoughts. And I was the most positive person. I was making jokes with all the doctors, all the nurses. I made jokes on the operating table when I went in with the doctor. He came in and he says, you're mine now. And I said to him, Doc, just do me one favor. Take out what you have to and leave what you need to. Don't take anything that you don't need to take. And he was saying to me, and I only found out that I had stage 2 colon cancer when I went to see my doctor weeks after the surgery for him to do a follow-up visit. And he says, oh, by the way, you had the stage 2 colon cancer. At that point in time, throughout the whole surgery and post-surgery, I didn't know what they found, whether it was good, bad, or indifferent. But I kept with the positivity and with the jokes and stuff, relying on my wife and my 2 children to be with me. And as I said, stay away from negative people. I went to one meeting when I was diagnosed, and people could see that I wasn't feeling too well. They said, what happened? I said, well, I'm going to be away from work for a few weeks. I thought it was going to be a few weeks. It turned out to be months. I said, I was just diagnosed with colon cancer. Cheese on by Graham, boy. I know people that thing killed just 2 days ago. And a friend of mine died with that last week. And 6 months ago, my cousin had it and he passed it. And I said, nah, I can't take this. So I pushed away all the negativity and the negative people. I took time off from work. I stayed home. I did positive things. I listened to my family, and I enjoyed my time. And as Antoine says, I miss that time. Up to just the other night, I was lying down in my bed, and I was remembering the hospital and what was going on and how I felt. And I don't know if it gives you some sense of you have arrived in a different group of individual, or if there's something that makes you unique to somebody else. And as Antoine said, it's not that I want to have cancer again, but the whole experience was an eye-opener for me, and I've grown from that as an individual. I've grown to love my wife and children far more than I ever did before. I haven't told her that, but I'm sure she probably knows it from time to time. But without them, I would not be here. Without God, I would not be here. And that is what you need to really do with your life. Push out the positivity, push out the negativity, eliminate that, and stay with the power of your mind. I will survive. I will get over this. I will beat this. Nothing is going to take me away from who I am with. And that's what kept me going and kept me going and making jokes. Now, as a spoken word artist, I try to make light of issues that we might find serious in Barbados. Things that you don't want to necessarily talk about. I am still working on a spoken word piece about my experience that I went through. And it is taking me a long time because this is one serious thing that I cannot find a way of making a joke about it. But throughout life, you have your ups and your downs. And you just have to deal with it and live through it. And just make sure that every day you live it like if it is the day that you have to enjoy life. Because we never know when we're going to go. With stage 2, I have a 90% chance of 5-year life expectancy. That's what the statistics say. It's 18 months so far. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to live for another 20 years. Or it doesn't mean that I'm not going to live for another 30 years. It is all in the hands of God. Anything can take me at any time, but it is that positive thought that I'm saying, okay, well, I beat this. I'm going to now beat that 90% and show that that 5-year expectancy rate will become 10, then 15. And when I reach my 5th year, I'm going to have a party by me and invite people who I know are positive. And everybody's going to dress up in blue, which is the color of colon cancer. And we're going to celebrate my 5 years. And that's how I'm going to live my life from now on. Positive, keeping strong, not listening to the negative. And I will continue with my testing. I have a blood test in the next week and a half. And my doctor called me today and says, you're due for a colonoscopy again. So I have to go for a colonoscopy probably in the first week in November. But I don't mind. I've done enough of them now. I don't care about them. I know that they're there for a reason. And gentlemen, colon cancer starts with a small little polyp inside of your intestines. That's all it is. And that, if you take that out, you increase your chances of not getting colon cancer. If you don't get tested, if you don't have the colonoscopy and find these little polyps that are all inside of you or can be inside of you, they will develop. Colon cancer takes 10 to 15 years to really develop within your system. And I'm gradually becoming a colon cancer expert in inverted commas because I'm now reading about it so I can understand what I went through, so I can explain to persons the importance of making sure you don't go through this as well. But I don't want to take up more of your time for now. We will talk, and I know the President has some questions for you, and we do want to hear from those of you in the audience, like Doreen, who can tell us how Antoine is a big boy now.
You can talk about me. All right, I know that President wanted to offer a remark, and then I will allow for you, the audience, to do likewise.
Okay. How many people here know the risk factors related, and especially in this particular case, to colon cancer? I know the ladies probably know the risk factors about breast cancer. The men, I hope they know the risk factors related to prostate cancer. How many people really know the risk factors associated with colon cancer? Anybody care to offer? Do you know that colon cancer and cancer in general, black people are more prone to get it than any other race? When it comes to the statistics, next to breast cancer, colon cancer is the second killer of women. In men, next to prostate cancer, colon cancer is the second killer. And why it is so important, I'm going to tell you my story. I wasn't going to, but it maybe drive this thing home. The doctor says you aren't supposed to have screening for colon cancer until you were 50 at one time. I was 42 when my father died. 1994, yes, 1994. And lo and behold, my mother died like 3 weeks later. So I went back home. My doctor felt I must be going mad. He decided I need to get a full test, everything. I went and I had a workup like I've never had in my life, then, before then, and after. But lo and behold, like you heard this gentleman saying, I had 3 polyps. The colonoscopy detected 3 polyps. I didn't feel anything, didn't see any symptoms, nothing. But lo and behold, one of them was already starting. I don't like to say going into stage anything. I like to say start doing his thing. Okay? And after the biopsy came back, the only thing my doctor would tell me, your father died so you could live because you had no symptoms. And if your father didn't die, you wouldn't have had this test because you would not be able to do it because you were in high risk. Okay? So we could be walking around fat, dumb, and happy and don't know what's in us. And for those of us, and I'm speaking both men and women, who've never been tested before, and you think that everything is going all right, as the title says, in the pit of your stomach, there's probably something else in there. And the only way you're going to know it is if you go and get tested. Since 1994, I can tell you I have had over 30 colonoscopies. I'm going back to the States in a couple of weeks to have another one. I get them right now every 2 years I get a colonoscopy because I develop polyps that fast. Okay, the doctor called me a polyp farm. Okay, so we may look healthy, feel healthy, and we run around, but I'm telling you, you have to go and get it checked out. The risk factors are there. You know, I was never a smoker, and that's one of the risk factors. I'm not a heavy drinker. That's one of the risk factors. I like to eat. The only thing I don't eat or can't eat is lamb, but I eat everything else. And maybe it was meat, I don't know. But we all have to be very careful of what's going on in our bodies, what we put in our bodies. And I just want to impress upon you and to strengthen the argument by these 2 gentlemen. Because you feel good, it doesn't mean that everything is okay. You have to go and get it checked out. Like I said, I started getting colonoscopies in 1994, once every 6 months for 2 years, and then every year for about 2 years after that. And it's advanced where now I get it every 2 years. It wouldn't go past 2 years. So, and the doctor got on my case if I miss a month, as I did this year. Okay? So, I just want to impress upon you because I know men in particular don't like to get checked. As far as I'm concerned, somebody always tell people, I'm very secure in my manhood. Go ahead and look. Make sure nothing is left in there when you're done. And, you know, I get it done. I go to sleep. It's the one time in my life I get drugs. is when I go to that colonoscopy. 1 minute I'm talking to the nurses and the doctors, and then split seconds later, I'm off the la-la-land and sitting in the recovery room when I get up. So it's not that bad. Okay.
All right, thank you very much, Anderson. I'm going to allow you now to offer your comments if you so desire. Yes? Anyone? Yes? All right, the mic is there.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am not a cancer patient, but I am standing for my daughter who is a breast cancer patient. I just want to say about the support group and about the caregivers. It is not an easy job. It is definitely not an easy job. I don't know who else in here is a caretaker, but it is a very tough job. Sometimes it becomes, I have never went to anything like this. I walk in here this evening and I have not been the same since. I am known to be a very strong person, but I am at my weakest. My daughter would have been diagnosed in 2017. Sorry. My daughter would have been diagnosed in 2017. I remember she went to the doctor and she called me at work and said, Mom, I'm coming for you and we have to go talk. We went over to Brandon's Beach and we sat down and she said, Mommy, I went to the doctor before I spoke to you and now he took this a test and he sent it for testing and now it come back with cancer. I mean, my whole world fell apart. My whole world fell apart. However, we help each other and I tried to console her. Well, she tried to console me. I don't even know who was the strongest at that. However, we went through and we have gone through chemo. First round of chemo, the first 4 times she went, it was easy. She would go to work and I told her personally, she would go to work and she would come back and she would be good. However, then she had radiation and then she had another round of chemo. But let me tell you, that first time, the second round of chemo, I remember she was ill for 6 days. She wasn't eating, she was down at her lowest. And I said, no, this is not my child. I have to take my child back to the hospital. So I decided we're going back to the hospital. We've gone back to the hospital, and because she was vomiting, they sent some blood for testing, but they said, however, I'm not wrong, or they say, however, they will keep her, even though the blood test is not back yet. So they prepare for the room, they prepare the room, and everything. But just as they put her in the wheelchair, they called down and said the room was ready, so they put her in the wheelchair and we don't out to the room. And like, they'll be here from here today. And they made this big alarm. No, she can't. So you know that took me, I went totally insane. I had to be controlled and everything. Apparently her immune system was down and then she had to be hospitalized for a few days and the story goes on and on. But I just want to say that for all those who have persons, anybody here that have persons that are going through, sometimes, as Anton said, they can be strong, sometimes they can be weak, sometimes you get agitated, but you just have to bear because you know the situation. And I'm asking everybody here this evening to pray for me, keep me in prayer because it really has me at my weakest.
Thank you very much. And I want to say that we had a similar forum at the Grand Salle, and the daughter of whom she speaks was there, and she spoke. And she's a strong, strong woman. As a matter of fact, I messaged her this week. And, just to check up and so on, she told me she's not in the island. I automatically thought that she was doing some form of therapy. So she said because she told me she's in Miami. So Miami, PET scan, sorry, I couldn't think of anything else. She said, no, I'm a carnival. Man, I was happy. So that is the way you got to go, girl. Because she said it, she has always been a crossover girl. So when she told me she's at Carnival, I said, I like that. Said she's not on the road, but she's on one of the trucks enjoying it. Tell me why she couldn't do it. What is it that will be stopping her? Remember I told you, it should not change you, right? So she's a good testimony of such. Please.
Good night. In the pit of my stomach, something felt wrong. 2015, I was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer. It took 2 years before they found out what was wrong with me. And at night, I would say, Lord, something wrong in here. Something wrong. I knew something was wrong. Go to the doctor. Sometimes my head would be giddy. You have sinuses, all different things to say you had. But, you know, one Sunday night, I was at church a Sunday evening. And when I got there, I felt so sick. And I remember the Spirit saying to me, get up. Tomorrow morning, you go to this doctor that I used to go to. I haven't been to him a long time. And I remember slipping out the church door, getting the car right home, back to my husband, and he said, Peg, what happened? I said, tomorrow I'm going to the doctor to see. And when I walked in his office that morning, and he took my blood count, he said, something is wrong. Your blood count is 6. And from there, that's where my journey started. Go back and had to go and get these tests. He said, you know, I want Kelly take her and get all of these tests, and when one of the tests come back, I will call and let you know what I suspect. He never told me what it was, so I did all the tests, and I remember I went to Oak Diagnostic Clinic, and there was doing the tests, and it took so long, and then when they finished, they told me to go back to my doctor. Went back to the doctor, and the doctor, I remember he said colon cancer, but my husband didn't hear. And we leave to go, I go home, and then he said, you have to get hospital out. You need surgery urgently. Hospital out. Bring some surgeons, and he tell me who he think I should go to. We went to the surgeon, we went to the office, and when we got there, the receptionist said, come back Monday. And I don't know what she saw on my husband's face, but she said when she saw my husband's face, right? She said something about his face, they look right, and she said, come back this evening at 3. We went back at 3 and met the surgeon and the different tests and things you went through, you know. I was told that the tumor at that time was 10 centimeters. And after going on and then had to go and get the surgery, my blood count was low too bad. He said I had to get a blood transfusion. Went to the hospital to get the blood transfusion. I prayed, God, I don't want to do this. And while I was there, he came and he said the blood count wanted to 9, so I could work with it. So I had to get my blood transfusion. So I gave God praise for that, you know. But I did the surgery, and when he went in, he said it was touching my liver, so they had to cut some of the liver off. He said it had, from that time, I guess within a month, it has developed from, say, 10 centimeters to 20. He said, I don't know how it got big so fast, but it was a big tumor. And I want to give God praise. And you know, my husband, he was there for me. My family was overseas. And I remember the day when I was diagnosed, we think about death. As a maybe it's about it. I shut down, I didn't pray, I didn't do nothing. Just closed down. I remember in the morning I got up and I went to the bathroom. And I came back and I laid down on the bed. I looked at the heaven, I looked at me, I said, God, I don't want bed. I can't left Kelly, you look so bad. My husband lost so much weight in that space of time. He went from 34 to a 36 to size 35. And everybody thought his body had cancer. I did not look sick, believe me. Never looked sick. Everybody thought he had cancer. People said, Kelly looks so bad. And I remember one body, and they're looking at him. I said, Carl, what happened? He said, he's so stressed. And I started to pray. I said, God, that time I didn't know about cancer support. And I started to pray. I said, God, I want to call this gentleman that he had now lost his wife. And I said, God, I would like to call Brother Keith to come and counsel Caroline. And then I hear a knock at the door. When I went to open the door, Brother Keith at the door. God, I said, Brother Keith, how you know? Who tell you? He said, I was fast and my spirit said to stop here. And he came in, had to go and wake up Caroline off of the floor. I hold him and counsel him. He now loses his wife to cancer too, right? I want to say God has been so good. I went through the chemotherapy. I had 12 rounds of chemotherapy, but I had to be in the hospital 3 days, a week, every 2 weeks for those chemotherapy, to get that chemo. 3 days, but it was 12 rounds. It weren't easy. Some days you feel like, God, I could do this. I remember one day, I just felt so sick and nobody was home and I started to bawl. I said, God, I can't do this no more. I don't want no more chemotherapy. I don't want no more. I'm not doing it no more. I don't care what nobody say. I finished. And I remember the spirit said to me, Peggy, get up and call somebody. Call somebody. I was going up my head. And I called my sister overseas and I remember I was crying. She said, Peggy, what happened? I said, There. Nobody tell me that I don't want no more chemotherapy. I'm not doing this. And she said, Peggy, I'm your voice right now. And she started to pray for me. And she started to pray. She praying and I bawling. But I was, you know, when you dance somebody, you want to say you don't want no more. Somebody say, hang in there, you can do it. You angry at her. I want to hear that. I want you agree with me not to do no more chemotherapy, you know. So I want to say God been good after what I went through. I had 36 lymph node states from me and 3 had in cancer. And I remember I called my sister. I said, the point 3, they had 36, but 3 had in cancer. So that's all right. Jesus only got 3 more to be with. So today I give God praise and thanks. I'm here. I'm still here. I'm telling you that I'm perfect. Sometimes you still have your ups and downs. But I am here and I am moving. I'm trusting God. I remember a day I went to the doctor, the same doctor that I went to, and the chemotherapy had made the bones in my back like slip something. They would slip out, and I went to him one day. And I started to say to him, you know, you used to encourage me, but I don't know if I work on Sunday to Sunday. So I don't know if you know is a Christian or not. But I just want to tell you thanks. And he stopped and put down the pen and he looked at me. He said, I'm going to be honest with you. It isn't the surgeon. It wasn't me. I was just trying to help. I didn't look for you to live. Your results were so bad. And the only body that have you here is somebody up higher. And I want to tell you, keep trusting that body that is up higher. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, good night. Yeah, this is Caroline.
I'm not saying you look bad. I'm just saying you must be.
Okay. Well, I must say I'm thankful. Right. Like Graham has said, support is the main factor, and I believe that support is a medicine. Because whatever my wife went through, I was there for her. I remember she told me one thing, Caroline, even if you didn't hear from me before in the marriage, I can tell anybody that you're there for me now. This is our 34th year of marriage. And when I first heard about this cancer, well, I know when she was going through stuff, and we didn't know where it was. She would leave, go down the basement just to hang up some clothes, just go down the steps. And then she would go sit down in the basement. She was depressed, feel bad, and everything. But we know it was something, but we didn't know what it was. And she was probably going through something else. But what I can say tonight is that from that time up to now, I was there for my wife every visit, every time she had to go and get a test, whatever. Then she went to chemo. And I told myself that all her family is aware, and it's only because of me that she's still here in Barbados, because that when we was courting and stuff, her mother was fighting for her, and she stopped her. Tell her, no, I don't want to live in America because my husband lives here. Can't be husband and wife, and he here and I don't live. But even after surgery, like before chemo, like after chemo, like when she going for the chemo and stuff, she will have to get some injections. And there's a nurse that came and talked to me and said, Charlie, I won't let your wife to be coming to the hospital so regular because this is a place that probably will get more infection than any other place. So I want to ask you something. If I teach you how to inject your wife, you feel you will get to? Honestly, I was scared, but I got harder. I know I have to give her the injection in her belly. And the needle was a big, long needle. And you had to do it the right way, and then you had to rub it because it was I know Grim know about those injections. Right. And I give her those injections. And then, when you're taking chemo, because I also became my wife's chief cook and bottle washer. She would tell me, well, Charlie, I need some cocoa or whatever. And when I finished cooking for her, not that it wasn't tasty, she would tell me she didn't want it anymore because that she can't get it no. And you know how that is, that I spend that time to prepare, and I know that I did it to the best of my ability. But I must say that God has a lot to do with this, because without Him, I don't know if I would be here tonight. As she said that people had thought that I was the person with the cancer. Right? But something that stood out with me is that she told me one time, Charlie, I want to tell you something. If I live or if I die, I'm a winner. I'm a winner. And that is stood out to me. So like, we went along and stuff. That even caused me to did my first colonoscopy. Right? I did my first one. I'm 60 right now, so I would say I double last year, right? So I did it at age 59. But something you said tonight that I believe, they told me that I don't need one within another 10 years, but I believe so much things can happen within 10 years. That's their diagnosis, but I believe that I should have one before that again. Right? But it also brings me closer to God. Because yes, I used to go to church, but I didn't have that faith like my wife. My wife gave me, through God, gave me that kind of faith. That I'm thankful today that she's alive, because that I remember that I didn't really have much money when she was diagnosed. I was saving up some money for some reason. I didn't know the reason was for her surgery. But I thank God today, because I know people that had enough more money than I had and spend it, and the patient is not alive today. And I'm thankful today that I can come here and talk with you all and let you all know that not only a wife nor a husband, a friend or a family, give that support. That support is very, very vital. Right? That carry a long way, because I know that if I had let my wife, she won't be here tonight. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. In the pit of my stomach, I felt something wrong.
pit of my stomach, something felt wrong. Good evening, everybody. I'm Antoine's wife. I'm Doreen. For those of you who don't know. In the pit of my stomach, something felt wrong. In the pit of my stomach, I knew something was wrong. In the pit of his stomach, he was feeling pain. In the pit of my stomach, I was feeling anxious. I wasn't scared because I read a lot, and I knew that something was wrong. I kept on telling Antoine, something is wrong. Antoine would come home, I would cook, just like you, Carla. I would cook, and he would eat, and he would eat. He would say, I don't want a lot of food. I mean, he's not a big eater, but he would say, I don't want a lot of food. And the little bit that I would put, he would start to eat, and he would say, I'm full. And I'd be like, but how could you be full? You barely eat. But he would be full. So in the pit of my stomach, I knew something was wrong. Antoine's eyes were yellow. I knew that he was anemic. He was eating ice like it was going out of fashion. As he said, he was buying bags of ice and telling me about parties that we weren't having. And we went to the doctor, his doctor, and I told his doctor, something is wrong with my husband. I really need you to send him for a test. He's losing weight. I know that he has other challenges, but he's just losing weight. He's not doing anything to lose the weight. He's not exercising. And I told him, I said, but Antoine, if you're able to lose weight without doing anything, well, tell me what you're doing, because I would like to lose weight too. And, you know, Antoine is always a jovial person, has always been. And that has never changed. So, you know, I said to him about the weight loss, and he said, but Doreen, people telling me that I look good though. Everybody's saying, but you look good, you're losing the weight and you look good. And as he said, the doctor said, well, you could do to lose a few pounds. I mean, there's nothing wrong with losing a few pounds at his age. And I said, don't mind them people, you look real bad. Whoever telling you you look good, tell them your wife say you look bad. And that continued, as he said, that was the October and the January, and I had changed. We talk about the power of God. In the October, I was called by my boss at the time, and she said to me, there's an opening in another department, and I'm recommending you for the opening. And everybody knows that I am a very mouthy person, and I thought, is she really telling me this opening for the good of me, or is she trying to get me out of the department? And I said to Antoine, I said, well, you know, there's a suggestion about me going to another department. He said, well, go. There's nothing wrong. Go. It's a new challenge. Take it on. And I was taking that on from the January, and this new challenge allowed me more flexibility of time. It gave me a few more dollars in my pocket. And the first appointment that Antoine had, I would have been able to go to. And because the doctor moved it up, I wasn't able to go because that was the first week I had started my new job. And I sent Antoine to the doctor. I don't know how many of you ladies do this, but I know the husband I have. In the pit of my stomach, I know my husband real good. I sent my husband to the doctor with a list of things I needed checked because I couldn't accompany him. And I said to him, you take this list, give it to her, and let her call me, because I don't want to hear from you, because chances are you are going to come back and not remember what she said. And he went with the list, dutifully gave it to her, and she called me. And the night she called me, and Antoine was right there next to me, having called his sister and said, you hear about me? I got to go in the hospital. And I'm like, Antoine, please, don't make those kind of jokes. You don't know what the lady's going to say. You know, just cut it out. She called and she said, Mrs. Williams, I'm calling to tell you I need you to bring your husband to the hospital, to Bracebridge tomorrow he needs to have a blood transfusion. I did not panic because I am not one who panics very easily. I take things in stride because I believe that somebody has to be the strong person. And I said, hold on, and I put her on the speakerphone. I said, no, speak. And he heard that, and his face turned. I said, when we came off the phone after having heard about the transfusion, I said, you see, you call that. You talked about having to go in the hospital. You call that. So you have to go tomorrow. He had transfusion 1, and mind you, before transfusions or anything, it was, as he said, it was around Christmas time, and I know Antoine is a shirker. Christmas work has to be done at home. Ladies have Christmas work to do. Right, Antoine? By Christmas work, I mean cleaning the windows and all that. And I thought at that time that Antoine was trying to get out of doing stuff. And he would clean a window and go like back down. And I'm like, come on, Antoine, just do it and be done, you know. Just do it and you could go and do whatever else you have to do. But, you know, in as much as I felt something was wrong, I also felt he was shirking at the time too. And that transfusion was brought about, as he said, because his blood count was so low. And he felt the way he felt because his blood count was that low. So all Christmas, he wasn't himself, just trying to be. And we then found out it was the cancer. Well, she sent us for the colonoscopy, sent him, and I use the word us because I'm a part of this journey. So she sent us for the colonoscopy, and he had the colonoscopy done, and we got the results back, and I knew that it was cancerous. I just knew that. But in all of this, for me, it was never fear. For me, I never thought that my husband was not going to live. I knew that there were going to be challenges, but I never thought my husband was not going to live. And I knew that because of the person he is. Antoine made it extremely easy for me as a caregiver. He's by nature the person who would be confused with a cold. But in all honesty, he wants to get better because he always has something to do. So, you know, to be laid up, he's not that person. So I knew that having this cancer and all that, this was, yes, something that was going to floor him for a little bit. And I said a little bit because it really was a little bit. He's always talked about the doctors telling him, you know, you're going to go into surgery, and the surgery you're going to come out and be in intensive care for a week and all of that. And that never happened. Antoine was in intensive care overnight and back on the ward the next morning. And all of this is because of Antoine's very strong will, because of the fact that he is, no matter what, Antoine believes that there is a God above. And if I didn't know the type of person that I had as a husband before, I found that out with this journey. And him being the person that he is has helped me to become that strong person too. We've always gone to church together and all of that. We are very firm believers, and I am a very firm believer that if something is wrong, people talk about you can't tell this body and you can't tell the next body, but how else are you going to get any help if you don't let people in? You need people, there's power in numbers. You need people to pray for you. You need people to pray with you. So unless you let people know what's going on, then you can't get anything done. And I put it to my church group as fast as we knew. There were people who came to give blood, people we didn't know. And as y'all know the story, people reached out to help. But I believe that people reached out to help Antoine because Antoine has things to do. And he is doing these things right now. In all of this, yes, I have been that person who is there with every notebook, still there as much as I possibly can at every turn, at every doctor's appointment, because I still don't trust him to go and come back with the right information. As he said, if you ask him what he was taking, he wouldn't be able to say it. You would have to turn to me and ask, what is Antoine taking? And it's so bad that when we're going overseas, it's me who writes down everything and takes everything. The last time we were going, I got so annoyed because I said to him, I said, Antoine, what about the other medication you're on? Did you remember to at least write down the names of the other medication? No. No, I didn't write them down. I know that I on blood pressure medication. I said, okay, so what dosage, Antoine? I mean, come on, you need to know these things now. But yet he would tell me he's a big boy. So I don't know how big a boy. I still don't think he's grown up enough yet. But he's getting there, slowly but surely. He's getting there. We just as we are laughing here, our family is one who gathers around amidst fun. We are that type of family. We believe in having fun. So we have a family chat, and everything goes into that family chat. If it is that he went to have his toenail checked, you have to tell the family because everybody needs to know. If it is that you gave me trouble yesterday, please tell them too, because when they're looking for me to be that supportive person and I'm not as supportive as they expect, it's because you gave me trouble before. Because sometimes, as all of us have said, it's not easy. I remember one instance, and I'm sharing this because I know that caregivers sometimes get, we want to provide really good care, but we are not conscious of the fact that the patient might not necessarily want the care that we are given at the time. I remember Antoine had his chemo on the private ward, and I would go and I would sleep. And one day I went and I took the food down, and I was preparing for the night now because I used to take a little pillow or whatever, and I was preparing for the night, and he said to me, but you ain't gonna stop, And I'm like, where is this coming from? He said, but you could go home. Well, if I ain't here and something happened, I belong to the hospital. And I was like, what kind of mad person is this? So we continued to eat, and I didn't say anything. And I finished eating, and he went to the bathroom, and by the time he came back from the bathroom, I had packed up everything I had taken. Because that night, I felt as if I was not needed. I felt disrespected, and I thought, no, I'm not having this. I packed up everything, as I said, and he said, where are you going? I said, I'm going home. I'm going where I live. I left. I said, do not call me when you think I'm home. And he called. I said to him when I was leaving, I said, I will come for you when you're ready. Call me when you're ready to come out of the hospital. And as the lady said, sometimes chemo took like 2.5 days or whatever. And it was a miserable 2.5 days for him. Made even more miserable by the fact that he couldn't communicate with me because I wasn't having that. And I seriously stuck to my word. So he knew there and then, look, this is serious business now. This, I can't be so ungrateful to this woman who is really going all out for me. And that was really and truly the only time. I think he learned his lesson then. Don't play this kind of stupid game. You need me really and truly. You need me. Antoine, have I said enough? In all of this, though, the thing about in the pit of my stomach, I just want caregivers and those people who are not necessarily caregivers, but like we say, friends. If you have people around you who you think there's something going on with them, please tell them that you think something is wrong. Don't pamper them and say, okay, well, maybe it's just because you had the cold last week or whatever. If you feel something is really wrong, please encourage them to go and get tested. Encourage them, keep on encouraging them, because there's nothing like encouragement and getting tested for those things that are going on within us that we don't, necessarily pay attention to. So please continue to get tested. I'm not a member of the group, but believe me, with everything that's going on, I am aware of everything that's going on. I'm not a member of the group because of the way I work and stuff, but I know about the things that go on. And I encourage everybody to, always keep abreast of the news and to pay attention to our bodies. Listen to our bodies. Listen to the pit of our stomach. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I know he's been sitting quietly throughout the whole process, but I will now allow him an opportunity to open his remarks and to take us to a space, perhaps the psychological component of it, discover the emotional component as we continue to share the on the topic, the pit of my stomach, something felt wrong. Pastor Paul.
Just a few comments. I think the topic has been wonderfully covered, and as I was sharing with Graham, the power of story is important because you see persons who've gone through and are still standing. And there are many people here in the audience that I smile when I look at them. I smile when I see them because they have been there and come back and have the scars to prove it. And it's wonderful. But the stomach is a very significant organ in and of itself and a very powerful symbol and metaphor for us to use this evening. The stomach is at the center, the core of our being. And when anything that is at the core of your being registers your feelings, as soon as a child is disturbed, what do they say? And what's hurting? Don't want to go to school today. What is hurting? If any grief come upon you, where do you feel? The stomach is our middle, our inner self. And in many respects, even in the medical field, the stomach is considered the second brain. Because while your brain is processing everything about you, a lot gets registered in your stomach. Health begins in the mouth, and it's really, really significant when it ends into the stomach. A poor digestive system leads to all kinds of problems. The nutrition that we have or do not have is going to determine our health because of what happens in the stomach. Is that right, Jenny? Absolutely so. Even with all of the conventional treatments that are given, the nutrition that we have to ingest makes a major difference in how we process. But then too, the stomach, because of what registers of where our anxiety or fears or cares or dismays, the joy that we feel, you can see people's stomach undulating when they're having a good hearty laugh, right? You know that old song, Why? My belly, murder. You feel it there, right? Good. And that stomach, in a metaphorical sense, is there to alarm us when we need to pay attention. And we need not neglect the warning signs that are there. We don't like pain, but pain is a gift from God. How many of you believe that? Pain is a gift. None of us want pain. We're in a world where we're being told to medicate any pain. Any pain you get, take a pill. But we need to pay attention because the pain is alarming. It is saying something to us. It is telling us that something needs to be checked, needs to be investigated, and we need to pay attention to it. And intuitively, from an intuitive perspective, we can sense when something is going on with us. And when we have those intuitive senses, don't ignore it. Sometimes it's as a quiet, a still small voice within ourselves, because God cares deeply about us. God cares about us and wants us to be in good health. He says, beloved, I would above all things as believers, I want to say to every Christian, you have a responsibility to take care of your body. You have a responsibility to eat responsibly, to care for your body, to do what Jesus said, eliminate stress, eliminate anxiety, eliminate worry, eliminate the frivolous things that we allow to drive our lives, and live the way God will have us to live, so that we can be strong in the Lord and give him good bodies to be his temple. Amen? God bless you.
Thank you very much.
Admirable all that we heard tonight, and we can thank God for such a gentleman, president. But I just want to share with you, as I work, we have taken for 4 plus years. I was fortunate to have worked gastro and may be having some challenges with constipation. Constipation is not good. If you continue to have issues with constipation, it's going to affect how your colon looks. Because what happens when you have constipation is the stool all the way sits in the gut for longer than it should. And as opposed to leaving, it then, all of the toxins from the stool gets into the bloodstream, into the venous system, within the colon, and then changes it over time. So some people say, I don't have a stool. I stool every 2 or 3 days. Try to do the old thing. It works. Fruit, healthy lifestyle. Try to have fruit and oats first thing in the morning. Then you can have a fruit around midday, around 10 o'clock. And for lunch, I know it's hard for some people. Okras, cabbage, if you don't have irritable bowel syndrome, because there's some people who have what's called irritable bowel syndrome, where when they eat cabbage, they get bloated. So if you're a person who, when you eat cabbage, it becomes bloated, you may have to stay away from it. But you may be able to eat lettuce. You may be able to eat okras. And your plate, like I would always say to my patients, when you put food on your plate, and this is where the nursing support comes, your plate should look like this. Let's say this is your plate. Divide it in 4. Divide your plate in 4. One quadrant should have okras, steamed broccoli, all the things you really don't want to eat, but they are healthy for you. The other side should have your lettuce and your cucumber. Then you can have your meat. Now, there's still a lot of talk about beef and red meats. Red meats have not got the best in terms of word, in terms of what they do, because it is, the jury is still out, but it is still aware that red meats are one of the factors that contribute to changes in the colon, not necessarily colon cancer, but some of the changes. So people like us, when you get to 65, God's willing to be in another few weeks and over, you should be by now settled and eating cooked veg, steamed veg, a piece of fish or a chicken, and a small amount of starch. Now, what starch should you be using? The starches that you should be eating at this time should be sweet potatoes. They're high in fiber. The fiber is what is important. As you age, it helps to sweep the gut. Breadfruit, yam, edibles, those old brown provisions are the ones that you should be eating at this time. Lots of water, and stay away from sweetened drinks. Now, there are times when you might get very thirsty, you're out in the sun, it's very hot these days, walk with your water. But if you do feel a little faintish and you feel like you need a little pet, a small amount of sweetened drink wouldn't hurt, but not too much of it. So I just thought I would share with you that little bit of information about diet and how you can change the dynamics of how your body works. Do you know that if you exercise every day, if you go exercise every day, you will end up going to the bathroom more often? Often when persons have had abdominal surgery, what's the first thing they do? Anybody knows the first thing they do after abdominal surgery? They make you walk. And the reason for that is, once you start walking, the blood vessels start to perform their jobs, and they get into the gut, and they help to, and you find that bowel movements and so on happen faster, because you have to have, once you've had abdominal surgery, you need that gut to be stimulated. I'm not going to stay much longer, but I really felt compelled to share that with you. And the one last thing is that the reason why many people will not recognize that they are at risk or they're having issues with the colon is they have silent symptoms. The symptoms are there, very mild, like the gentleman said, and they're not recognizing. Weight loss, pain, abdominal discomfort, bloating, loss of appetite, many of those things, but they mimic other medical conditions.
conditions. So that is why when a person starts to have a significant change in their bodies, they should see the doctor. And that's all I would say for now. All right? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I think that your information was quite relevant to this particular experience. As we look to head into the home stretch, we are going to offer now to those of you who are here, or two of you. But I will, before I speak of that, let you know that Cancer Support Services has started the campaign as it relates to encouraging Barbadians to practice early screening and detection as it relates to colon cancer. And while we are in no way separate from the practice of testing as far as the PSAs are concerned, and certainly the encouragement of mammograms and so on, we realize because of the statistics that we need to also heighten the awareness as far as colon cancer is concerned. As a matter of fact, during my journey, the doctor, my surgeon, he was very concerned, and still is, of the rising statistics of colon cancer among Barbadians. So he saw my journey as being ideal and purposeful in helping to shape the campaign. And so Cancer Support Services, as I say, we have started that process. Tonight we are going to be giving away 2 kits. And these are kits that are especially designed for you, for home use. Kits do not in any way take away the necessity of having a colonoscopy, but it allows you to do your personal testing. And obviously, with the consultation of your doctor, you will know well how serious the particular matter is. Graham has consented to give one of the kits to one of you present, and our president, he has agreed to do likewise. So 2 persons will have a chance to take away 2 kits. But I will tell others that the kits are the cost of $120, and if you do not have the coppers now, you can certainly make arrangements with the admin officer, David, or with our executive director, Jan, and make arrangements to purchase the kits from the office.
And while you're doing that, you can also seek to gather more information about Cancer Support Services and be so inclined to join as a member. We are always looking for members. That is so vital to the sustenance of the organization. So how are we going to give away these kits? 2 questions. One will be posed by Graham, and the other question will be posed by our president. And of course, the one with the correct answer will be given the kit. So Graham, you have your question? All right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the kit that I'm going to give away, you don't need to worry about coppers. I've taken care of that. So this is my gift to somebody in the audience. What I want is your commitment that when you get this kit, that you follow through with using it, consult with your doctor, and then follow through after that. Okay, is that a deal? Okay, so my question is, when I was talking, I talked about my journey and so on. I want someone to tell me who was the main person that made me get to the doctor. Okay. What was that? His hand was up first? The gentleman here. She's telling me his hand was up first. All right, sir. We don't have the kits. Right? Yeah? Okay. What will happen is when we're finished, you can sign up at the back and they will give you all the procedures and what you have to do. But all that I ask is that you follow through with it, you follow the instructions, you use it, you consult with your doctor, and make sure that you get tested. Okay? Thank you.
All right, so now the next question will be posed.
As you collect the kits, like Graham says, we need to know that you're going to utilize the kit, the instructions on it, what you need to do. I'm sure you've seen the Cola Guard on television and that kind of thing. It's basically the same way. You turn it back in, it'll go to the lab, they'll analyze it, and they will send it back to you. And please follow up with your doctor if it's elevated in any way. I mentioned the age at which the doctor said you should have a colonoscopy. What age did I have my... Okay, you got it. Come on up. What's your name?
Saitobia Worrell.
Saitobia Worrell. Okay, congratulations. Just go ahead and use it, and I hope nothing happens, but good luck.
Thank you very much. I will allow the kind gentleman to offer closing remarks. But before I do that, are there any questions that you may want to pose? Or any brief comments from the members of the audience? Sylvia, you coming? Well, okay. Any questions? All right. Questions, sir? No.
There you go, sir. That's the mic.
Yes, good night. I can't hear myself.
Is it on?
Yes. Yes. You said that this kit should not replace getting your colonoscopy. Are you saying that if you use the kit and the test negative, you shouldn't worry about colonoscopy?
No, you will still need to do that. I think, well, allow you to explain the process.
The way it works, you know, like anything else, the colonoscopy is the standard, the gold standard, when it comes to checking to make sure that you don't have colon cancer, at least you don't have polyps, okay? What the kit will tell you is whether or not it's elevated. It's a lot cheaper to do that and get some results for that price than to spend, I believe I've heard numbers from $2,000 to $3,000 for a colonoscopy. Okay? So it's just the first step, just like with the PSAs. The PSA is the first step to telling you whether or not you may have prostate cancer. That's just the first step. After that, you go into the other phases of it. But it's very simple to do. You take it home, you follow the instructions on there, you take it back to the lab, they'll do the analysis, they'll send the results back to you, and they'll let you know whether or not it's elevated. Okay? That is the first step, not the final.
All right, thank you very much. You mentioned, you have a comment, question? Yeah, go ahead.
Become a volunteer of this service?
Right, okay, I'm going to come to that. Thank you so much. I wanted to also let you know that while we talk about testing, on the 2nd of November, that is next week Saturday, we will have our PSA, and that of course is for all men. And we've been enjoying some good numbers, 95, 100, and we want that to continue. So if you know of any male males who've never had the PSA, the prostate testing, please encourage them to join us at the Office of Cancer Support Services, which is on Dells Road. And it starts from 10 to 1, 10 to 2? 10 to 1. And $50, which is really a gift. And the process is very simple because it's done via the blood test process. But we're seeing, like I said, a lot of young men, and we're also seeing middle age and some older. So the demographics are right across the board. But we just want to encourage the men to be part of that practice. You were asking my friend about being a volunteer. Well, I would encourage you to be a member if that's what you mean. Now, joining is just as easy. And if you want to, for example, to do so tonight, there are application forms, membership forms. Jan, I know, is pregnant with excitement. Not what I said, pregnant with excitement, as she shares all the background information relative to joining, to membership. Membership can be shown in various ways. You may have a desire to be part of the welfare team. That's good. You may want to be part of the visitation team. You may perhaps want to assist in areas of counseling, depending on, of course, on your expertise. So there are various ways, but the point is we want you to be part of the organization. And that is vital. And by being a part of the organization, of course, like everything else, you will be able to benefit from the resources that are offered, whether it's financial, depending on your particular circumstance, or whether it is in the area of counseling. And I should also say that members of your family will also benefit in that regard. Yes? So we look forward to seeing you. Right. Any final comments from the audience or questions? There being none, I would invite the kind gentleman to offer closing remarks. Okay, Graham, and then President, back to you, and then I will wrap up.
Alrighty, I'll be very brief. I just want to thank everybody for coming again. I implore you to please become a member of the Cancer Support Services. And men, I expect you to start getting tested. One quick little fact, Barbados is ranked 6th in the entire world for colorectal cancer rate. We are number 6, 50 in every 100,000 people. That is something that nobody really understands. So get tested. My mandate is to make sure that you do. And I would just say also that there are a couple of little small orange containers at the back. I will ask if you happen to have any small donations that you would like to leave for the Cancer Support Services. They are there for that. But above all, please get tested. Ask your friends to get tested whenever you hear of our sessions and meetings. Please invite your friends and come again and continue to hear our stories and get further information and education on cancer in Barbados. Thank you.
Okay, in closing, I'm going to reinforce what Anton said about membership. Cancer Support Services, we do a lot more than what you see here. I don't know how much you know of what we do, but you know, when a person first diagnosed with cancer, you know what happened. They go up and down, they're very emotional. And the good pastor here is one who helped with the counseling to kind of steady the ship, so to speak, both for themselves and their family. We also would offer patients being sent home from the hospital for the sake of our beds, oxygen. I mean, there are many things, and all these things cost money, okay? We may assist financially if somehow they can't manage or their family's suffering. If they had to go overseas for PET scans, you know, there's no PET scan machines here in Barbados. So we would assist with them going overseas. So we do a lot with what little we have. We don't have a lot, but we try to use it wisely and be good stewards. And thank God that He's been providing for us throughout the period since our existence, which now I think 23 years we've been in existence. Small, but effective. So I want to thank you all for coming out this evening, and I hope I'll be seeing you all at many more events. Thank you.
Pastor Paul?
Again, let me say how much we appreciate you being here. I want to thank the President, the Executive Director, and others, all of the members of the Council and members of Cancer Support who gave us the opportunity to host this. I'm not going to steal the thunder of the Health and Wellness Ministry that will most likely want to thank you. But I appreciate, because as a church, we want to be able to reach out. Again, the stomach is an indicator of significant things that are wrong, either physically or emotionally. And if you feel those butterflies, anxieties, call, come in, get some counsel, get some advice, so that you'll be able to know how best to proceed with your life. God bless you.
Thank you. My comments will be speaking more about telling your story, encouraging you to tell your story. We have to move away as a society from hiding and thinking that we don't want people to know our business. But health is one of those areas that all of us, at some point in time, we will be afflicted with any particular ailment. But more importantly, where cancer is concerned, it's my personal belief that now more than ever it is necessary to share, to let persons know what you have been through, how you dealt with it, and your moments of celebration, which in itself will bring about some sense of encouragement to others. Don't keep it to yourself. Let others know, so that when they see you and they see how good you look, yes, they understand why you look so. Okay? Because again, when people are diagnosed and it is known, it seems as though it's supposed to look bad. And after you come off all of that, you should still be looking bad. So as a society, church, every aspect of our society, we need to talk more and tell our stories. And more importantly, to celebrate the moments. So this experience, I trust, in some way or another, has certainly lifted your spirit and has given you that encouragement to any individual whom you may know to be part of the journey. Thank you so much.
Before I say thank you, I've observed that we have a little container here, and this is part of the kit. I worked in a lab for 6 years, and I just want to let you know, quite often what people do is when they bring stool in these, they fill it up. It's not supposed to be full. Hold on, please. You're really supposed to scoop. You go to the bathroom, you stool, and you scoop, and you put it in here. That's all they need. That's why it has a spoon. Because so often people have it so full that the gas blows the top off, and then the poor lab technicians have a hard time with the scent. So make it a little easier on them and just put a scoop. Okay, guys? Right. Thank you very much for coming. I'd like to say thank you very much on behalf of the Health and Wellness team of First Baptist Church. We're happy, in conjunction with our pastor, to have hosted this. Ms. Linton, please stand. Come to me, come. Come. What many of you may not know is we were in school together, and she's my friend. And I'm proud of her and what she has accomplished with her team. Please give her hand, please. Thank you. I'd also like to thank the members here, Graham, Anton, and Henderson, the three of them, for giving their testimony in such a wonderful way. Please give them a hand too. And I can't leave my pastor out. Give him a hand too. He's the one working in conjunction with Ms. Linton
that can make this all happen. And now, we thank you to you, the audience, for being such a wonderful audience. Give yourself a hand. Thank you for coming, and do continue to support Jan in the wonderful work she's doing with her team. God bless you.
God bless us all. Let's stand and just say the grace together. Let's thank God for the fact that we have survivors. Amen. And there are persons in this audience who've gone through, going through, and God is blessing. Amen. May the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us all, now and forevermore. Amen. On your way out, if you think you've been benefited from the wonderful information you received, and those who have dared to bear themselves in more ways than one, God will make it tonight in sharing their testimony that will help you. On your way out, there's information, pamphlets there for you, there's newsletters, and secondly, you will see some orange boxes there, the color of cancer support. Please leave a donation for this wonderful organization that, as you heard, gives counseling, gives oxygen for people in home care, that has adopted Ward C12 and puts curtains, sheets, benefits the patients, visits the patients on C12, where most patients with cancer are warded, and has that MOU with the hospital to do that. And I cannot tell you the myriad of other things that this organization does, and therefore give a contribution. Every bit helps. They do far more above what their budget is supposed to achieve. So make a contribution on your way out, okay? And it doesn't have to only be tonight. If you're not able to do so tonight, remember to do so at other times. Support the activities of the organization and join where you can. Money doesn't solve everything. You have some skills that you can give. We would love to have them. God bless you. Have a good night.